And so I'm proud of you for making it this far. We have a little ways to go to tie a nice bow on this and call it a semester. But I think you'll find this a really interesting week. It's a big week. It's a week of big ideas. So let's just jump right in and take a look. So we're down here to week 6. This is the last box. It's the last tile that's going to open for our winter class. And so the first thing you should do is check the checklist. And I'm going to show you something specific on here this time that you might find helpful, because I keep getting the question from a lot of people, like, so what do I take next? Like, what's the next thing? So let me get to that. This is taking a second to load. Remember, you can always use the menu here to jump down to different parts. And so, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just scan down so we can see what's what. And we're going to meet in Zoom, and you kind of need to do a couple of things to get ready for Zoom this week. If possible, watch the AMA video for Tuesday, and then go through the virtual reality stuff for Thursday. That'll come in handy. But here's a reminder of some of the big deadlines. So Friday is the 12th. The 12th is a big deadline. So pretty much all the homework from week 6 and any of the chapter quizzes. If you haven't done the chapter quizzes yet, you have till Friday at midnight. And same with, there's only a couple of assignments. There's a virtual reality one, and then there's the AMA review. So they won't, well, I'm not going to say they won't take you long. You probably should plan on probably about 6 hours total between watching the video and doing the assignment and going through all the virtual reality stuff. But we'll get to that shortly. And then the final is going to actually open up on Thursday afternoon, but close on Sunday. So I want you to have a full weekend to actually fully focus on the questions I'm going to ask you on the final. And again, we'll get to that shortly. So computer careers, here's my friends, Alex and Eric. And the AMA is a 90-minute video with them that they did last spring with my 101 class. And we had some of the students there who came in and asked them questions. And part of what you'll get a chance to do is to write up a couple of questions. And I'm going to try to get the questions to them, even though this isn't a live session, and see if they'll respond, because that would be super fun if they would. Anyhow, part 2 is about information systems. And I thought, you know, this whole class has been about information systems. So how are we going to wrap it up? And there's a couple of really good, whoops, I didn't change this. This is not databases. This is information systems. Whoops, but we'll do this right here on the fly. There we go. So the first thing I want you to watch is this crash course video. It's the last video in the computer science series. They have 40 videos. You know, if you don't have much to do, like at some point, just go through the videos. Super good stuff. I've used a few of them in this class. I really like how they research things. Their videos are all chunked in like, I don't know, 10 or not more than about 15-minute segments. And so you can really get a really good overview of the whole computer science field just by watching those. But this is the last one. And she brings up some really interesting stuff. The singularity and Skynet and the future, you know, of computing. She goes all out. And then there's a couple of resources here. This one is, I copied in from Carnegie Mellon, that just looks at the field of information systems. So you might find that kind of interesting. We talked about computer science before, but now this is specifically about what information systems are all about. And then there's another one, the Occupational Outlook Handbook. You should just go explore that. That's a really interesting resource from the US government. And you can pretty much, I'll just go pull it up. You can pretty much pull up almost any career. This one happens to be targeted, of course, on computers and information technology, but you can look at the main jobs in that career, and it will give you what your entry-level education is, what the median pay is. That's the last year, excuse me. And then if you click on it, it gives you this really cool summary. You know, some of them have videos. They'll tell you about the work environment. It's just a really neat overview. But it's not just computers. Like, you can go look up pretty much anything. You know, just go to the Occupational Handbook main page, Occupation Finder. There you go, look it up. So anyhow, that's a fun resource to explore. And then there's the quiz for the chapter, which I forgot to change the name again to this. Hopefully that's the right chapter. Anyhow, this part 3, I was thinking through how to do this because in class we bring in Google Cardboard. I have a whole bunch of them, and we talk about lots of things, and we do things, and we make things, and it's a lot of fun. So what I did this time is I decided to do something a little bit different. So hold that thought. I'm going to take you back to Moodle in just a second and show you that. And then we've got the finish line. So we got the final exam. Looking ahead, I've had a lot of people ask me, like, what do you take next? So I had promised to give you an overview of my ethics class. And so this is the official course description. These are some of the topics we cover, and we go in deep. Like, what does it mean? Like, what are the ethics of social media? What about computer crimes? What's the digital divide all about? I'm even going to open it up for kind of a wild card week, I think, where I let you guys or whoever's in the class give me suggestions for what we should cover, because I think that would be really interesting. So I definitely recommend checking that out. There's, I think a couple more people just signed up today. So there's only really about 7 seats left, but it would definitely be worth your time. However, what I did is I went through the spring schedule at the college, and I just pulled out some classes. Like, if you're interested in programming, start with Python. If you like the database thing, there's a database management class. Linux and Unix, there's an intro to operating systems. There's networking classes, microprocessors, computer maintenance, electronics and computer hardware. I mean, seriously, the cool thing about CIS 101 is we touch on everything. And so if one of those things kind of lit your fire and you thought it was super interesting, go take a class. We got a class for that. That's not all the classes we have, but I just, I was running out of space. So I just kind of put down some ones that I would recommend. Now let's just jump back over here. And let me close this because I want to show you the virtual reality. So you should definitely plan. I know it looks like there's one tile. You need to plan about 3 or 4 hours on this project. So I'm going to open it up. It's going to open in a new window, and it's a Google Doc. And the first thing that you need to do is copy the doc to your own drive, kind of like what we did with the peer reviews. So go to File, make a copy of your name, delete that part. And I'm just going to make up a name, Susie Student. So replace that with your actual name. And then open it up. Make sure you know where you put it. And then the other place to change your name, first off, is down here in the footer. Okay, so down here. And you probably have to double click down there to be able to get in there. Double click and replace and add your name. Okay. So that way, actually, I'm going to turn Grammarly off. Well, we'll see. No, I don't want to check it. Anyhow, so put your name. That way your name's on every page. So the way this works is I'm going to take you through a journey. And if you want to see kind of where we're going, click the table of contents, and this will show you where we're going. In this resource section down here, this is just a list of the links that are in the rest of the document, kind of all on one page. But we're going to learn about virtual reality. We're going to explore it. We're going to look at how the 360 videos work. Then we're going to look at some real world applications. We're going to talk about making an impact with virtual reality. And then, of course, the big issues. Those are always my favorite part. So let me bring this down to 90% a little bit. So as you go through this, anywhere that there's a link, that's something for you to watch or read. Anywhere there's a question mark bubble here, that's for where you're going to type in your answer right on this document. So you're going to go through and fill this out. And this is really interesting because most people actually don't know the difference between AR and VR. They're really close, but they're not the same. So that short video will tell you what that's all about. In this next segment, it says, let's go skiing in Austria. And so when you go to that, let's just go to that. Super cool. So it's going to bring this up let it get started. I didn't really screen share with audio. I'm going to actually turn off the audio. So the way the 360 videos work is you grab your mouse. See, it says click and drag to explore. So you can like look as the video is going all the way around. And this is a video about skiing in Solden, which is a glacier. And it's kind of neat because you can sort of look around. That's funny because there's a guy with the 360 camera. You can see the shadow. And you get to see the views and everything. So all of these videos are like that. So what you're going to do is watch that one. And it's going to talk a little bit about how the videos are made and about this area in Austria. And then you get to go on an adventure. So you're going to pick, there's a whole bunch of different ones here. You're going to pick 3 of these to go on. So go to these, look around. Which one should we pick? Let's see. Oh, the volcano one was super cool. I have to admit, I watched all of them. Then you got commercials. Oh my goodness.
Jane.
Skip the ad. Okay. And National Geographic has some wonderful 360 videos. So we're actually going to go up in a helicopter. And again, you just drag and look around. There's some controls up here to let you turn the camera. So we're apparently in the helicopter next to the other helicopter. You just look all the way around. So we're in the cockpit. And now we're going to head to a volcano that's erupting. So I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but it is super cool. So anyhow, explore a couple of those videos and then answer this question. How did VR benefit your learning about a location that you might not have otherwise been able to visit? Like, when are we going to ever go get to visit in a helicopter a volcano in Russia? Like, seriously. Well, maybe someone that we know that's flown on helicopters might get to go or might have been there, but for the rest of us, we don't get to go. And so for each of those videos, you're going to write in, oops, let me get to the chart here. You're going to fill in the chart. So where did you go? So just whatever the name of the video is, where you went. And then what did you see? What did you learn? Give some details. Would you want to travel there in real life? Why or why not? So you're going to fill in this section about your adventure that you've gone on. Now, this next part, this is super interesting. You can get a YouTube Creator Academy certificate. And so what you're going to do is go here to YouTube Creator Academy. Let me close a few of these other windows here. And they have kind of, you can actually go through and get a certificate. So that's what I want you to do. So watch this video because it tells you how they make these movies. It's really interesting. I found it really interesting. And then as you go down, let me click on lesson 1. I already did it. That's why it's all checked off. There we go. So as you read through each of these, you can kind of check off. It's telling you about how this all works. And then there's like a really short try it thing. You can type in some answers here if you want. And then I already took the quiz. I guess I retake the quiz, right? And so it just asks you a couple of questions. And when you're all done with that, you go to the second one, and it's going to talk about shooting the videos. Like this is really funny because this guy on the deck. Anyhow, it's kind of interesting. It gives you some tips and tricks about how to shoot a good 360 video. So this piece, I guess you could call this a technical piece. This is showing you the tech. And again, there's the quiz. And then when you're all done, you go to the course exam, which I already did. I'm just going to click a bunch. I'm going to click the last one on all of them. I'm not reading it because I don't want you to see them. I'll see if it gives me the certificate. Apparently, I'm not doing very well because I'm getting all yellows instead of greens. Submit. All right, you can take the quiz as many times as you want. So when you get done, here's what you're going to do. Get my letter. And it's going to give you this letter. And you need to make a screenshot of this. So let me do that right now. I'm going to make, I don't think you can see what's happening on my screen just because So I don't know, maybe you can. Anyhow, I just took a screenshot. I give you a link on here for how to take a screenshot. That's a GCF Learn page on how to take a screenshot. Then what I want you to do to submit this part is you need to replace this picture with the picture that has your name on it. All right. So this link on this page tells how to do that, but I'm going to show you right now. Well, the easiest way is just to right click, replace image, and upload from computer. So I'm going to go to where all my screenshots are, and it's the most recent one. And then boom, it replaces it right in. When you do it that way, it keeps the same size, it keeps all the same attributes. And so it'll fit in really nice. And then the second part, this is kind of a to-do part. You're going to create a playlist of your favorite 360 videos and then share them with the class and then put the link here. So here's how to create a playlist. Here's how to share the playlist. It tells you where to go in Discord to share it. And you're going to put the link to your playlist here also on this document. Now, this third step, real world applications. So there's a page here, click here, and I've got a screenshot of the page. So let's click here and go to this page. And what I want you to do is explore through all kinds of different things. I'm going to click military, virtual reality in the military. Some of these pages are more filled out than other pages, but they're all super interesting. You know, so you can look at, you know, flight simulation, and it will give you some details there. You can drill down. Let me come down here a little farther. Virtual reality and the Navy, and it will take you to information about that. This military page is actually pretty well developed because the military has used virtual reality. So this is explore a little more. So now you're going to explore these different domains and applications of virtual reality and pick 2 of them that you thought were interesting. And what you're going to do with that is down here, you're going to fill in, you know, virtual reality, whatever the title is, and the Navy. So you put whatever the category is, and then fill in the details, okay? What's useful? What did you find out? What did you learn? What was interesting and surprising? So you're gonna pick 2 categories. If you read it and nothing was interesting, that's a cop-out. You can't write that here. So go find a different category where something's interesting. Okay, coming down, making an impact. Now this is the one that's gonna take you the longest because I want you to actually watch all these videos. But this is going to, if I had to guess, this is going to just like blow your mind, some of these things. How VR is being used with inmates so they can get out of prison. How VR is used to help paraplegics move again. How is VR being used as an art form? How is VR booming in the workplace? Okay, and that one's actually an article that's got a video embedded in it. So you can read through that. This other one, conflict, this is augmented reality. And so read through the website to get an idea of what they're trying to do, and then watch the movie trailer. And if you're brave enough, download the app. It is a pretty heavy download, but download the app and try it out on your phone. Because I'm telling you, I did that and it kind of freaked me out in a good way. It was really interesting. And then this last one, empathy, how virtual reality can create the ultimate empathy machine. And that's a TED Talk. And he talks about a video called Clouds Over Cedra that if we had headsets, you could actually look at. And if you have a VR headset, you can look at any of these in a VR headset. So by all means, if you have one, use it. But I think you'll find this Clouds Over Cedra that he talks about in the TED Talk. I think you'll find this like really impactful. I'm going to just jump forward. And the short story is, let me mute this for a second, is they're in a Syrian refugee camp, I believe in Jordan. And so what you're doing is you're following this 10-year-old girl or 12-year-old girl through her daily life. Like you go to school with her, you see her family, and again, you get to like look around. So here she is. Oh, that scene just closed. Here she is playing with some of her friends. So you're kind of getting the view as if you were like right there with them. as she's telling her story.
Unlike home, here in Zaatari, girls can play football too. That makes us happy.
That's a really good story. So after watching those, what I want you to do is write this up. What did you find the most impactful and why did you select that one? It might be hard to pick just one. So choose one of the topics and then see if you can find out where are they now? A couple of these videos are 3 or 4 years old. Did the prisoners, did it work? Like, did they get parole? Is there any more research on the paraplegics? Like, see what else you can find up about that, okay? And write that up. So what was most impactful and why? And then what's the follow-up? And make sure that you include the resource, like if there's a link, an article or something. Now, down to this last part, the big issues. So I have a really short article for you to read here, but it's definitely issues worth considering. And this always comes to mind. With great power comes great responsibility. And VR is a great power. So we're going to actually talk about some of these issues in Zoom on Thursday, which is why you need to go through this. Here's a short list, but if you go to this article, it kind of breaks it down a little bit. It really is quite short. There's just, a short paragraph about each of these. Now, this comes from a much larger document. So if you're really interested, you can go read this much larger document. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this document in the computer ethics class in the spring. But, all you need to do is kind of read over this because there's some big ideas there. When you're done with all of this, what you're going to do, so you're going to go through, look for the 2 speech bubbles here, make sure you filled out everything, because pretty much all your answers are here, except for the one thing that you're going to share to Discord. And then what you're going to do is share your document with me. So remember to go up to share. Share it with me, and I'll share it with my husband. Share it with me as an editor so I can get in and make comments. And then you're going to download the document as a PDF, just like we've done with lots of other things, as a PDF, and then upload that PDF to the virtual reality upload. Okay. Now, the only thing I ask is because after you do a bunch of typing and stuff in here, the spacing and stuff will get weird. So let me kind of go back up to the top. Just make sure that each step starts at the top of a page. And so, for example, if this step 3 real world applications was on the page before, which I think I can probably do. Yeah, if it was like this, then I want to make sure it's on its own page. And I just kind of goofed it up because of what I did here. But yeah, but just make sure it's at the top of its own page. Even if there's a blank page in the middle, that's totally fine. I'm going to delete that. So that way, that'll make it really easy for me to scan. Heading again, that'll make it super easy for me to scan through and be able to see all of your answers. Okay, so just do a little formatting, make sure it's not too cattywampus. I tried to leave enough space for you to fill stuff out as we go through. And yeah, that's mostly it. All that will be left is the final, and that'll open Thursday, and we'll talk about that on Thursday. But what you should know is that the final is going to ask you to think about all the things. It is kind of a comprehensive final. It's going to ask you to think about all the things you've learned and reflect on that. And so if you're not sure, if we did so much stuff you don't remember, might not be a bad idea to kind of scan over the checklist from each week just to get a refresher in your brain and pay attention to the things that were really interesting, because that'll be helpful. So virtual reality, you're hanging out with a couple of my favorite people. My husband Steve is in that. So we've got, Dr. Steve Curdy, Dr. Eric Hennigan, and Alex Huthmacher, who are all very techy in lots of different areas. And so it's a really good conversation, that AMA. So have fun with that and have fun with the virtual reality, but give yourself enough time. I'm estimating it's going to take you 5 or 6 hours between those 2 assignments this week to do them and do them well. And they're all due by Friday. So see you in Zoom.